Good evening, good morning, RGL. Welcome to Retrothon and the SimCity block. My name is Czar, also known as Zardia. I'll be speedrunning the 800,000 population category this evening. There are a lot of really neat techniques and mechanics in this game that most people who played it many years ago still don't know about. And when you are trying to stack population, these techniques are critical in reaching that lofty number. There will be stadiums. Funding is also going to be a key aspect of this run, as we are going to see. So the first note of this run is that we're going to be resuming a save city that has yet to have anything built in it. And the reason that we do this is because we want to obtain the fountain gift, which only comes in 1950, which takes quite a while as the game cycles through the seasons and the years. We need every gift you can possibly get to reach that lofty number of 800K. And when you're speedrunning, to have a start where you have the fountain gift immediately, you're saving hours of time right there. So it's a really fun, a really neat run. I hope you all enjoy, and let's get it started. Here we go. So what you're going to be seeing here is a technique of building that is a hybrid of the donut block style of building, in which you maximize the amount of zones you can cram in here. Another thing that this technique does is that it ensures that all of these zones in the donut blocks will top out. If I make one mistake here, it's really costly anywhere in the run. So this is a really tight run. You cannot make any mistakes that can prove costly. Sub hype. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to be installing train tracks here. It's really weird, the train tracks, how they work in this game with residential and commercial zones. That's fair. For a long time, I did as well. I've got to watch my money very carefully here. We need a specific set of money at the end to get the money cheat, which is going to be used. All right, we're now going to be powering the town up. We want to place our PDHQ there to maximize the amount of police radius we are getting. We're also going to reduce the tax rate here, as that's key to get the money cheat to activate. Okay, money's looking good. And obviously having zero taxes bolsters the population. So as you saw me when I began the run, I counted a specific number of movements and frames to place that fountain gift. It turns out in this game that you can place a gift in a specific coordinate and it will maximize the amount of land value you get from that gift. As you can see, our train is spazzing out there. If the train doesn't have at least 3 tiles of track to go on, it will respawn looking for 3 tiles of track. There's quite a bit to explain about this run. I'll try to do my best as I'm speed running it. We're going to try to activate the money cheat here, which is going to enable the speed run to happen and enable the mass development to happen in an applicable amount of time. The residential zones work as long as there is 1 tile of track touching 1 part of the residential zone that is also connected to 2 tiles of track that are touching at least 2 tiles of a commercial zone. That residential zone will develop correctly. It took quite a bit of testing to figure that one out. Some speedruns do. This category does not, because you have such a high population you have to reach. December's coming up. We're going to be going to our tax screen here, and I'm going to be explaining how the money sheet works. You can see we only have 11 right now, and we reduced our taxes, so we will not be getting any money. Why is it not working? Disaster! Okay, we should still be able to get it. Okay, whew, I did manage to save it there. You have to hold the shoulder button at the right time. And we actually ended up $2 over. So that kind of threw me off there, but we are okay. The run is not dead. The run lives. We're not going to be placing our stadium and our fire department. We're not going to power those up yet. We're going to place our airport and our seaport to get the expo gift. So now what I have to do is I have to rezone these residential zones. Once they reach this level, which is a mid top, or the highest level of mid, they will not change unless you bulldoze them out. That's a big part of this run, is babysitting the residential zones to make sure they're developing correctly. And yes, we placed the ports in the corners to minimize pollution. An astute deduction, welcome. Okay, this is all developing good. We should be hitting 50K shortly. So you can see these zones are developing with very high land value. And even zones in between the donut block zones are also developing with high land value. It's like we got a hospital there. That's a little unfortunate, but it's okay for this part of the run. We're going to need hospitals and schools later. We need 9 hospitals and 9 schools to obtain the 3 library gifts that we're going to require. And doing that is also pretty tricky. I'm going to snooze real quick while we develop our next part of the city now. We need 2 more donut blocks. there. Okay, forgive me, chat, if I might not be talking too much as I'm building. It's kind of frantic and manic at that point. We use the parks to increase the value of the commercial zones, as they adjust quite well to them. You only need one tile of track when you're just connecting commercial zones to get them to work properly. We're going to need another gift here. Spam out 5 of these. I'll get the fire department headquarters. Again, we don't power those up because we don't want to put a strain on our energy grid. The power grid is another finicky system in this game. Every time you bulldoze a zone that has already been connected to your grid and replace it with another zone, that takes the power of 2 zones. Okay, all that looks good. We're going to turn on the auto budget. I was really spooked earlier, folks. I thought that I had messed up the money cheat, and that would have been a massive time loss. Thrill spills and chills here on Retro Gaming Live TV. So as you notice, we don't have any industrial zones yet. As it turns out, they're really not needed until you absolutely have developed every part of the map except the corners. Commercial zones and residential zones will not develop as well around the corners unless you have parks or gifts to give them high land value. But industrial zones will develop anywhere. And during the last phase of this run, we're going to be building a ton of industrial zones to ensure that we get up to that 800K mark. Thank you for the good luck, Lyra. Welcome. Friend. Aventurine, friend. And you can see all those zones are tops now on around our fountain. So this developed perfectly. And I can give you a quick look there. Tops are the highest value zones. 2 high zones will merge into a top. If you don't build the donut block zones in this way, you might not get all 4 zones to top out like that. Or excuse me, rather, all 8 zones. Oh, that's another thing of beauty there. Oh, we got the glitch. This is awesome. I wanted to showcase this. So you saw right in the center of the screen there at the top, those 2 commercial zones tried to merge into a top, but then they broke. There's a glitch in the game that enables that. And okay, now it went into that zone. So it should stay now as that top. Because of the location, for some reason, at the edge of the map there, it will break top zones in that exact spot. But this is another perfect example of what this type of building can do for you. Now we're getting top zones in between the donut blocks. Oh, and there it is again. Look in the top left there. That top zone is glitched out. Oh, I love it. We got 2 of them. Content. You can see there that zone topped out outside of the donut. This one might down here. Let's get some development here. As soon as we reach 90,000, there's going to be a very long series of building. So there probably won't be too much talking during that phase. This would be a good time to grab a refill or readjust and get comfy. We're going to be building an entire frame of these donut blocks all the way around the map. I just want to make sure everything is developing like it should be here. Looks like everything's good. Okay, yeah, that looks good there. So between 90 and 100,000 population is where I either decide to kind of wait and let this finish developing or push right away. Based upon what I've seen so far, I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I want these zones to top out. So in a relatively small area of the map, we've already almost gotten to 100,000. Just because we've crammed so many high land value zones next to each other, and they're still able to function. All right, at 95, we're going. We got to do it. So the 100K split will come late for this run. It's go time. Roads required. That's another thing I can explain really quick here. The game gives you a lot of little messages like that, like pollution warning, even though we don't have any industrial zones, or more roads required. Those are automatic messages, and they're just checkpoints in the game. So if you're seeing those, that's actually a good thing. It means that the game is progressing and cycling through. It turns out you don't need roads at all, except for the 5 amusement park gifts that you have to get. So we will be building, a long stretch of roads at some point. As for now, we got to get to building here. Here we go. This is going to be a long one. We will actually be doing something similar to that at the end of the run. Something really cool is going to happen, so stay tuned for that. Need to keep this clean here. So again, if I make a mistake anywhere here, if one of these tiles is off anywhere, then I could lose an enormous amount of time not noticing it and having to come back for it later. It's actually a demanding run. We did MPI. It was kind of a scary moment there because it wasn't working like it normally does, but it still worked. I'd use a veteran move and keep my composure there. Okay, looks good. Now it's time for some good old terraforming. Using our magic bulldozer, we can reclaim land from the water. There is a lot of explanation, so there's always the VOD. But if you have any questions, then I will try to answer to the best of my ability. Yes, using our magic bulldozer, we're able to bulldoze the water to reclaim it into land. What's actually happening here is that the debug cheat is enabled for this game, and that's what allows for that to happen. And that's a very important part of this run in this category. Yes, I will be back later in probably about 6 hours after this run is completed with another run for you fine folks. We're performing miracles here for RGL. The lag comes into play now. It can lead you to missed inputs. Yes, there is a debug cheat mode that you can enable in this game from the menu. It was found actually not that long ago. For many years, it went unnoticed. But there's some really cool things you can do with it. Yes, that's it. It's a complex series of inputs. It takes a little bit to get it. So you know the developers made sure that it was something that people weren't going to stumble upon easily. I've not tested it with the NES version. I do want to try it at some point, though. And yeah, you can only wonder if those magazine developers and publishers, they had people working on the games to get those codes. We don't want to power up the airport because it causes extra pollution. It causes a plane to be launched into the sky, and the plane can crash at any time and really mess things up. It serves its intended purpose without being powered up, and it saves on pollution. If the plane crashes on the nuke plant, obviously that's bad. It won't exactly cause a nuclear meltdown, but it will cause issues. The nuclear meltdown is a random event. $500K is coming. That was more magic terraforming. Looks like our frame is almost complete now. We're about 3/4 of the way around the map. Time is looking decent for this. We've had a couple of minor mistakes, nothing too major. Starting to look like Vegas. Yeah, you're right. That's Vegas. By the end of this run, all these donut blocks will be filled with gifts except for one. Okay, that's all tracked up now. Yes, the gifts help boost the growth exponentially. Moment of truth time. Did we do this correctly? You'll soon find out. And it looks like we did. I love when a plan comes together. Huge relief. we park it all out. Now park it out. Raid hype, Ultimate Raiders. You are in the middle of the Retro Gaming Live Retrothon, and this is SimCity 800K. How did it go, Toad? Do that for now. I wonder if I should just develop this now. Let's do that. So if you played SimCity Casa, you're probably like, what are we looking at here? What you're looking at is the efficient donut block building method for speedrun. Exactly. That's exactly the quote that comes to mind. That's exactly the memes that come to mind. Thank you, the great Sir Nico. I'm glad to see that our chat is knowledgeable about the memes. RGL community, awesome community. Thank you so much for hosting me and allowing me to share this speedrun with everyone. And as I said, I'll be back later tonight with a Final Fantasy Legend 2 speedrun. That's also unconventional and quite interesting. A little blip in the connection there. They are pulling trees outside today, so if the stream is lost at any point, I will be working to restore it as soon as possible, and I am local recording. Okay, I think our frames are just about done here. Okay, here we go. Time to push for 100K. Gifts are going to be coming in fast and furious. We need to make sure we get them placed optimally. The PDHQ has double the radius of the regular police department, and you can branch them into other police departments to increase that radius even further. It is police state, yes. You want to put your gifts in the corners first. Welcome, Z. We should get both FDHQ gifts now. That's our 100K. Let's go. Hype music engage. I'm just testing to see where our power grid is at right now. If needed, we will plug them in. And now that we have our 3 FDHQ gifts, we don't need fire departments anymore, as those serve as those. All that area can be used for development later. Okay, we're at Metro now. We need to start pushing for more gifts. We got to get our other zoo. That means we need 2 more stadiums. We have to start building a long stretch of roads to start getting the amusement park gifts. These are required. They will be bulldozed later. This is the only reason roads are required. Also, once you have all 5 amusement park gifts, you can get rid of any roads, as I said. Also, for the speedrun, you always want to take the amusement park over the casino. The casino will raise crime over the entire city incrementally for each one you have. It's not related to anything localized. So if anywhere you put it on the map, crime goes up in the entire city. Okay, those should start coming in soon. I like to spread out my gifts, because that's what a good mayor does, right? See how things are developing here. Looks like everything's powered up and good. Landlocked seaport without power to ensure minimal pollution. There's the park there. I gotta get that in there. Okay, looks like everything's developing okay. The PDs are needed to maintain high land value. I spy disconnected zones. Okay, that's 3 amusement park gifts, I think, so far. And a NASCAR, yes, got a NASCAR track here. Ah, I see you're no stranger to the state of things, Falcor. Indeed, give them bread and circuses and they'll never riot. This is such a fun casual game to play. Got our first library, let's go. That's a good sign. That'll save us time later on having to grind out the other libraries, which we're going to be doing shortly. Okay, we've got 3 amusement parks so far. We need 2 more. So many fun things you can do in this game casually. Okay, there we go. That's 4. Again, it took all those roads to get those. A lot of people don't know you can get 5 of these extra roads. We need 1 more, and then I can bulldoze all these roads. That should be enough, I would think. There's our zoo. You get the second zoo after you have 3 stadiums. Okay, we start getting landfills now. We want to use those right away. If you get backed up on landfill gifts, you won't be able to get additional gifts. So when you're doing this category, also this 200k split, 200k hype population, you want to make sure you leave some water here so you can use those landfill gifts and keep getting the gifts you need. Amusement park, please. Okay, we got to get our other libraries now. To get the libraries, you need to have 9 schools and 9 hospitals total. So we have to build additional R zones here. And as I aforementioned, if you build zones that are already connected to your current power grid, those zones will act as now 2 zones of sucking power. So for this stretch of the game, I build a nuclear power plant to power up all these R zones we're going to be building to obtain our next 2 library gifts. That's another gift we're going to be going for pretty soon, is the 2 train station gifts. The first train station only requires 50 km of track to be laid, which is not too bad. The second train station takes 200 km of track, which is an egregious amount of track. And you'll be seeing that pretty soon. Okay, we've got hospitals and schools coming up here. Good, we're going to need more of those. I'm going to bulldoze any other zones. Only want to see hospitals and schools here. There's another hospital, good. Okay, there's our other park. It was late, but we got it. Twin parks there for you. Hey, what's up, Shy? RGL veteran. How many more do we need? We need 4 schools and 3 hospitals. That's still quite a bit. This can be a really taxing part of the run, because sometimes it just does not give you schools or hospitals, and you have to rebuild and rebuild over and over. Obviously, each time. I also have to rezone these residentials that are already developed, because they'll never change unless I do. Which means, yes, eventually I'm also going to have to babysit them to make sure they don't develop into hospitals or schools after we get our last library gift. Now we need some good RNG here. So I hope I'm doing my best to explain the run here. As aforementioned, there is a lot of explanation that needs to be done for this run. It's just taking a bit long now. Come on, we need more. Show me hospitals and schools. There's a hospital. We got another school. We need 2 more schools. That's it, game. Have to be careful here not to bulldoze the current ones or we lose time. Okay, no more hospitals. Show me some schools. 2 schools, all we need. Big money, no whammies. So because of all the zones we've already made, that power plant is being put quite a strain. That's why we make our own power plant for this. This is one of the more trolly library grinds that I've had, sadly. Reading is for winners, Ice. What are you talking about? We got some hype action here on RGL tonight. Ice Blue will be coming up. Let's go. Let's go. We got it. Okay, now the next exciting power of the run is going to begin. We no longer need any hospitals or schools, so we have to bulldoze every one of them we find. And then we have to make sure that they don't come back. It slows growth down, or zone growth down only minimally, and we only need hospitals or schools at this point. So it either turns into that right away or does not. So there's not really that much of an issue with that. Okay, what am I doing? We got to find hospitals and schools. Got to be really careful with inputs here because it's very laggy and the input can drag sometimes. If you bulldoze a gift, you never get that potential back. That was all of them. After I get all these roads bulldozed out, because now that we have our 5 amusement park gifts, we no longer need roads. I will go on to checking those to ensure they don't come back. There's lots of really interesting and huge time-saving parts of this run. We can be doing one thing, multitasking while something else is developing. This is one of them. Also, population check, we're at 280,000. We should be ahead coming up on our 300k split here, which is at 120. Aside from a near disaster early on, this run has gone quite well. So as you're bulldozing in this game, which is a big part of this run, sometimes you have to be careful that you don't look off screen for a minute. Because if I kept holding down there, I could bulldoze at airport, or you could bulldoze into a gift that you already have. So sometimes I'll scroll up like that, and then start coming back down to avoid that. I have had that happen in runs before, and it's rip run. And we don't want that right now, because this is a marathon. There is no real marathon safe strats for this game. The next game I will be running tonight, there is also no marathon safe strats, so it's high risk, high reward. Okay, we built the first R zone here, so they're going to start developing here. Don't troll me, game. We don't need hospitals or schools anymore. We're done with those. Let me do a quick total check. Okay, they're 0 and 0. Good. Okay, that one on the left is good. Ah. One on the bottom's good. Okay, those are good. Disconnected zone spotted. Okay, we only had 2 R zones that trolled us there. Later on, we'll have to be doing that again on a much larger scale as we are going to be filling the center of the map. Looks like this is going to be the one here. There's always one that trolls you. Nice. Okay, we are done with hospitals and schools for now, which means I need to move on to the next part of this build. We now need our 2 train station gives. The first one doesn't require that much track. The second one requires an enormous amount of track. Also, it looks like I have to do some rezoning here. Shoot. There first. I don't want to build the train tracks right next to each other like that because it causes a lot of lag. So I'm going to be spacing them out a little bit. We need a lot more train track to get our second train station. Low and mid zones, not in around the donut blocks. We do not want them there. They do have a place later, however. Okay, come on, let's see how we're gonna do here. No hospitals, no schools, please. Okay, good, good. So that one zone there on the right. Nice. Okay, here we go. We are going to fill approximately halfway down the map with train tracks to get that second train station. I'll wait for 300k. Split is a little behind because I did some extra stuff. Come on, 300k. 299, 2. Bam, should get a landfill. So after this next train station, there are only 2 more gifts remaining. There are a total of 27 gifts you can get legitly, and all of them are needed for this category. And those remaining 2 gifts will be the famed Mario statue, which everybody loves. And the other gift is another windmill. The rail industry better be giving me a gift after all this trouble. Most people in the game never even really got to see the 600k special screen you get for 600,000 population. Most thought that 500k was the end. But there actually is a screen and the population can go higher. There's a technique in this game called zone stacking that uses residential zones. And I've seen cities with well over 1 million population. The counter will actually reset once you go past 6 figures. Let's wait a quick second and see where we're at. We have 107, that's all? Oh my god. I thought we had way more than that. That must not have updated yet. $176. Okay, we're almost there. This is another reason why the money cheat is required. It would take so long to get all the gifts without the money cheat. You're looking at days, probably. I mean, days of SimCity. Right, it's the ideal town here. Who wouldn't want to live in this city? The answer at the end is going to be everyone, because of something that's going to happen to this city. Don't want to spoil too much yet, though, but we got something cool coming at the end of this one. It's got to be enough track. Thank you. So now we'll typewriter it all back. We don't need this track anymore. Again, there's our pollution warning screen, even though we don't have any industrial zones. That's nothing to be afraid of. You don't have any pollution. It's just a cycle that the game goes through. Trains and toll roads, interesting. So once we have finished this part of the run, our remaining 2 gifts are going to come naturally. We don't have to do too much to get them. And we're going to be starting to fill the center of the map here with a technique that's known as the blossom or the dragon flower technique, or the dragon shift as some call it. And what that does is that basically maximizes the amount of land value you can get outside of donut box zones. Ooh, that was close. We almost bulldozed that high-end zone there. But it's another really clever technique. Something else it does, it also maximizes your amount of train track that is needed to efficiently connect C and R zones. It'll be great. Most people have never seen it at all, so... On speedrun.com, there are actual several categories for this game. 100,000 population, 200,000, 500,000. There's also the max population category, which actually enables frame skipping, meaning you can speed up the game. The current world record, I believe, is around 860,000, I think. At least that's the highest that's been recorded in a speedrun. So we're going to be getting close to that. It's interesting speedrunning this game in these categories. There's actually 2 categories that exist for max population. One is speed, meaning the highest amount of population you can get in the lowest amount of time. And then the other category is score, meaning the highest population you can get in any amount of time. And hooray, our train track ordeal is finally over. We can move on to finishing up these donut block developments. Game, you stop that. You don't want that. Okay, we're going to do one more scan here, and then we're going to move on to our next phase of building. As you can see, all these zones are topping out just like they should be. This method of donut block building forces them to top out, so it's very reliable and it's very efficient. This part of town here really came out good. Look at all those tops. I've also got to start thinking about where we're going to place our last two gifts. We need to place them in the donut blocks that have the lowest land value. We've got mids there. We've only got one mid there. I might put it there. We've got mids there. I might put it here too. Okay, it's going to go either to the top or one of the sides, depending on how the rest of the city develops. Okay, no time to waste. Let's get into the next part here. So the first thing we have to do is we have to fill. I could probably let the game run for this part. We're going to be filling the entire center of the map, every other tile, with parks. And this is needed to bring the high land value to the commercial zones that we're going to be building. The old route used to fill in the entire center of the map with all parks. But it was discovered that in the game's coding, you can get the same effect by doing one every other layer with how the building goes and is laid out. So obviously that's a big time save. Instead of having to fill the entire center of the map with park, now you only have to fill every other row. So this is another part of the run that's kind of a snoozer. We're just going to be filling in here. It's a good time to answer any questions you might have about the run. So feel free to offer them if you have them. I love questions. One of my nicknames in high school was the Riddler, because I just love answering questions. Ah, yes, you are correct. Thank you, pedantic jackwagon. It's not every row, it is every column. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Where's ChatGPT when I need him? Also, you know, Xanth, we're not supposed to be doing math on Twitch, and that involves calculations. Favorite pancake topping? Good old maple syrup. Can't go wrong with a classic. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's that expression, paint the town red. Well, we're painting it green. Actually, we're painting it white right now. There's our green. We'll start reclaiming some land here. We want to make sure to leave some water so we can use those remaining landfill gifts and we don't get backed up, and then we won't be able to get the Mario gift or the windmill. I'm going to leave some water. Ideally, you want to leave the water in the middle because that's where the highest land value is. So if you develop there last, you're almost guaranteed high land value. Did we really put out 7 trees in a row with those parks? That's one of the higher numbers I've seen. Sensei paying close attention to the run. We love you, Sensei. Giant spiral? I mean, potentially, but it would probably take a lot longer to build, or, I mean, form out. Okay, that should be good. I mean, we are using the same kind of grid setup here, so in theory, a spiral would work. But it would have to be kind of plotted out how to do it in a time-saving and efficient manner. Giant QR code, that's a cool idea. Oh no, my OCD. We had a couple that were filled twice. Almost there. Okay, now begins the tedious part of making sure this next pattern is correct. Again, if one tile is off in this pattern anywhere, it pretty much is a rip at this point. So I have to be very careful. At this point, we do want to snooze it. The lag here is really bad and can lead to missed inputs, and that costs time. So there you have it, folks. That is our pattern. I don't think so, Schematics. I think this is exclusive to the Super Nintendo. We now fill in the rest of the park. Ultimately, doing this pattern, it is less space to fill in the parks, as you have C-zones that are now taking up area. And it's faster because you're only holding up and down inputs. Every column has to be perfect. C is for column, right? This part of the run actually reminds me of columns on Sega Genesis. I know. When you actually get into the mechanics of how this game works, the methods for maximizing potential of population get pretty silly like this. This also maximizes space, which is key. Ironically enough, C is also for Czar, which is my name. Lag, you stop that. The only drivers in this city are train drivers. Conductors, if you will, navigators. But yeah, imagine like literal transportation in a city like this. What were the developers thinking? Accurate city simulation? The city is a mall? Ah, yes, now it all makes more sense, doesn't it? Rumor is that Bowser will be making an appearance at some point in this run. That's what the rumor is. We're not sure quite how yet. That's how it's going to happen to RNGs. That better not happen. There's no room for RNG in this run. You gotta love my community here, folks. They're here cheering me on, wishing there's RNG on me. Twitch community, best community. Okay, track. Gotta interconnect our power grid here. Power grid issues are almost guaranteed later. Okay, let's go. We busted that out at under sub 2. That's good. We're just going to wait to see how this develops and check any corresponding zones. Are there any speedrun categories based on in-game time? Yeah, that's exactly what the max population category is. The other categories like 100K, they adhere to the barrier, 100K in this amount of time. The shortest amount of time is first place on the leaderboard. But there's our windmill. I put it there because this is the lowest land value permit. Yeah, like I said earlier, there's two categories for max population. One is score, the highest amount of population you can get in any set time. And then the second is time, which is max population you get in a certain amount of time. No more hospitals and schools, game. We don't want that. The commercial zones you usually don't have to rezone. They usually will turn to high land value without having to do that, but the residential zones are notorious for it. As we've seen this entire run. Okay, looks like everything's powered up. Good. Game's been trolling hardcore this run with the schools and hospitals. We've lost quite a bit of time having to rezone. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. Welcome in, Raiders, to RGL's Retrothon. We are doing SimCity, 800,000 population. And we're getting trolled by schools and hospitals right now. Thank you so much for the raid, Grimshins. I hope you had a great stream. Please, just turn into a zone. This will be 4 in a row if it does it again. Playing the hurry up and wait game right now. Nice, glad to hear your stream went well. Is it better? I wouldn't know. All I know is that this is a very good game. I loved running this game when I was young. I rented it so many times. Then I finally got it and I was like, yeah. Made so many cities. Another interesting fact about this game is that there's actually more than 1,000 maps that are auto-generated. If you load the game, load a map, and then go to the go-to menu and start over, you will have 1,000 new maps that are ready to be selected. Now, obviously, the first series of maps, most people know the highest land value or highest percentage of land maps are 0, 6, 1, and 1, 3, 7, respectively. But I don't think anyone's mapped out the other 1,000 maps yet, so that could be interesting. And we've just hit 400K. Let's go. GG on that one. Oh, so I'm building up the power plant. Where are the brownouts happening? Pretty sure I know where. Usually at the top of the map. No? Okay. We're okay here. What are you talking about, game? I don't see any zones without power here. We just got debated. There are no brownouts on this map. Oh wait, here they are. Okay, I see it now. That's actually not a brownout. That zone was not connected properly. It should develop now. So you can see because of all the parks here, these commercial zones are developing into high land value without needing a gift. Looks like that R zone never turned over. We have to rezone that. Why are you saying brownouts game? There are no brownouts here. I think so. They gave at the office, literally. Just another C zone there. This part of the run is just scanning and making sure everything's connected, developing, and working. Population's going up fast now. 482 already. The fabled 500K is coming up. And we're going to get that Mario statue. We're going to place that in the donut zone with the lowest land value. Maximize land value there. And then once we have that settled, we're going to be moving into the last part of the run in terms of development. This donut block here between these two gift zones seems to develop pretty well. We've got mids there. Anytime you see mids in a donut block zone that's not got gifts in it, you're doing something right. Another thing this build does is it kind of sandwiches all the land value into those one donut block zones. 500k, huzzah! Hype music engage. We still got 300k to go though. Hype. Yeah, there's only one mid here, so this is going here. All the other empty donut blocks had 2 and 3 mids, so this is definitely the right spot. Had to get one, right? Please, game, you've been burning me all seed with these hospitals and schools. We could not get them when we needed them, and now that we don't need them, we're getting them. Santh, Shy, there you go. There's yours RNG. I blame you two. Please. I feel like poking at it with the do the thing meme. Okay, good. All right, we gotta go. It's time. Final push. Very funny game. Already trolling with hospitals. Lag is really bad now. Lots of sightseeing for sure. We have all gifts now. Everything lined up perfectly. Okay, the center of the map is filled. We're moving on to the edges. We have that's our first industrial zone. Yes, it is. Industrial Revolution time. We need the industry to develop on the edges of the map with higher population than any commercial zone or residential would at this point in the game. This city should be called Inception. All right, is that it? No, we got more over here. Okay, the map is full. Let's go. I can almost guarantee you we're going to have power issues around this area, but I have prepared for that. We can place more nuclear power plants if needed. And they almost certainly will be. Yeah, there they are. Okay. For some reason, this happens every run. And as I said, it's because the game is still reading a lot of bulldoze zones as eating power. Wake up, guys. You got power right here. Thank you. You see, now it's kind of crept up there. It's like a creeping power problem. We got a hold of it early, though. I think it's just on the timer of the game. It takes a minute for it to turn on. So once again, a dozing we will go. Okay, that didn't seem too bad. Yeah, there's really minimal power lines needed, and it saves on space with this method. Any hospital or school showing? We have one hospital somewhere. Where is it? This is the last hospital we're going to have to rezone, hopefully. Population is going to shoot up quick now. So we got the entire map filled in under 230. That's good. Okay, now we wait and then we scan. So got a power issue up here. It's creeping further now. We got to fix this. See, now it's time to creep into our donut blocks here. We can't have that. There is the special 600K message that most have never seen. I should have let it play, but this is a speedrun. Come on, game. We got nuclear power plants here for you. Seems like that largely fixed it, but we're still affected in a bad area there. We don't want these zones losing value right now, because they were placed early, and that can be trouble. They might never recover. So we've got a lingering issue here too. Okay, fine game. I didn't want to do it, but you forced me to do it. This is a direct result of us having to rezone so many R zones from hospitals and schools because we got trolled so bad. Okay, it's out of the donut block now. That is good. In time, this should work itself out now. Where did that come from, dang it? Still being trolled here by these hospitals and schools. We've easily lost 3-4 minutes to this. We have no room for that in this category. Makes you wonder, were Maxis and the other developers of SimCity really tyrants and plotting the future here? Why is there still lingering power issues here? There's a power plant right there, game. Come on. Holy crap, game. That is enough. This is insane. That's the third or fourth time we've had to rezone that. Again. Please, game. This is the last one. Losing time on the 700k split because of this. If it does it again, I'm just putting a policeman department there and calling it good. Because that's ridiculous. Thank you, game. Why are you still having power issues? You're surrounded by nuclear power plants. 700k? There is a slight chance that Bowser can come and eat the city, yes. You're subjected to a slight chance of disasters. This is a dumb game. I really don't want to bulldoze any more zones at this point. I'm trying to make room. There's always low land value zones over here. That's okay. In this area of the map, even if residential zones are connected properly, they still fluctuate in and out like that. Gotta build another nuke plant because of this lingering power issue. This is more nuke plants than I've ever had to build, just because this run has been destroying me on the rezoning. Okay, finally that did it. It took 3 additional plants. Holy crap, that's terrible. Everything else looks connected though. At this point, we wait. The estimate for this game was 315. If I finish early, I have some filler. And based upon what I'm seeing, we should finish early. We might even get a sub 3 here. Aside from the game really trolling me on the rezoning, I've played this quite well. Practice pays. Oh yeah, every good marathon runner always comes prepared with the filler. We're past 7:50. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Yes, let's see it, chat. We need you to summon Bowser. Post your best Bowser emotes. It took us nearly 3 hours to build the city. How long will it take to destroy it, I wonder? The Great Bowser summoning has begun. 760. Trust your instincts. $770. It's almost time for our final push. Be placing industrial zones in a few spots here. I think I gotta push a little harder. Come on, sub 3 is on the line, game. Gotta get these zones populated. That can happen with this game. It's just a vibe. The tunes, the setting, it's very relaxing, very calming. Unless, of course, you're speedrunning, then it gets a little stressful. Okay, 780. You can see all this industry developed very well over here. Only one stadium remains. We had 3 for the zoo gift, but then after that, they have to go for room. Okay, that's got to be it. Now we wait. Stalling out here around 770. Let's go to the view screen. It can slightly reduce lag, I believe. Mode 7 hype. Some games did some really cool things with Mode 7 technology on the Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy did some cool things with the airship in Final Fantasy 3 or 6. Super Earth Defense Force has a really nice effect in one of the stages. 789. Okay, 790. These eye zones are developing very slowly. Population has just crept to a halt here, and I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, discovering new variables. Always during the marathon run, right? Back to 791. Sub 3 is probably a rip now. Sadly. If you're talking about these residential zones here, it's because of their location. They tend to develop a lot slower here. It is. It's nuclear stadium. The fanatics love it though. Right? It's the isotopes and the muons. Okay, 792. We're still climbing up. The nuclear meltdown disaster is very rare. Doesn't want to do it, but we got to develop some more I-zones here. Sub 3 has ripped. Yeah, I kind of knew it was going that way just when the residential zones were not cooperating at all. It's marathon luck. I am glad I put my estimate at just over 3, knowing this could have happened. Maybe that's why it's lagging so bad. That landfill came very late. Now it seems to be cycling through the proper messages finally. No idea what could have caused that. That landfill should have come at 500,000. I guess there must have been some type of overflow somewhere. Yeah, now things seem to be developing faster. That is a bug I suspected exists in this game. Is that if things don't go a certain way, it can get stuck in a lag lock. I think that's what just happened to us. Keep your Bowsers coming, it's getting closer. $4K more, let's go. That was unfortunate. I'm not sure how I can actually avoid that, really. Seems rather random. $2K? Sub 310 is a possibility still? We're so close. Would have had sub 3 for sure if it weren't for that lag lock. 400 away? 80 away? The game is teasing us now. Back to 80 away, come on. Not yet. Yay, we did it. $800,000 population. That last segment was slow, but we made it. Thank you all so much for the GGs. Got a little bit of time left, so let's have some fun now, shall we? First, we'll take a look at the voice. This is actually very good, almost 75%. It's a good public opinion. Take a look at our maps really quick. That's actually really good land value. You can see the game kind of assigns land value in a diamond there. By spreading out the police stations a little bit, I was able to stretch out land value there a little bit. And the gifts obviously bring the high land value to the edges of the map. Crime a little high in the center of the city, but you need that population there. That was really good rate of growth. Let's look at some totals. That alert is supposed to be off. Sorry about that. 2 undeveloped zones. Thank you all so much for those follows. $590 commercial. That's pretty high. Industrial's pretty high also. 20 power plants is ridiculous. We got destroyed on that. All right, here we go. Is Bowser going to show up? Did the summoning work? Oh no! What's happening? Yeah, that was Chrono Trigger. I apologize for that. My alert is supposed to be disabled. It's showing me that it's disabled, but they're still coming in. Bowser's on the warpath. Let's see what other trouble we can stir up here. Oh no, fires broke out. Where did you go, Bowser? There he is. The city's being destroyed. Bowser is carving a path of destruction through the center of town. That's the worst spot. And now he's taking down entire buildings. And a tornado has appeared. Blast you, climate change and geoengineering. And now the worst earthquake is the worst disaster. Earthquakes are really bad because they cover the entire map. Other disasters are kind of localized. You can see where they're happening, but the earthquake is everywhere. And the city is on fire. What took 3 hours to build is quickly being destroyed. Look at all this fire. How do we rebuild at this point? We have no fire departments anywhere except the headquarters. Not my beautiful city. This Bowser has been going for a long time. He is angry. I think all your summoning worked, chat. He's going straight for the center of buildings, too. In my opinion, this is the best version of SimCity, yes. It's just got a certain whimsicality to it in retro. Wait a minute, what the heck just happened here? Bowser disappeared in the zoo? Somebody clip that. Bowser literally just disappeared in the zoo. I've never seen that before. You can hear buildings crashing down everywhere. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. We just finished up our SimCity 800k run for Retrothon. Now we are destroying the city we built. You can blame the chat for this. Wow, look at that. Just a huge swath of destruction already. It's the apocalypse. Oh, we got the nuclear power plants burning now, too. Nuclear Stadium has gone nuclear. Oh no, Mario's in trouble. There's fires raging all around him because of Bowser. Is Mario going to survive this? Pollution warning. Pollution is the least of our concerns right now, Dr. Wright. Mario is trapped between 4 buildings that are burning. He needs his frog suit so he can jump out of there. Mario's on fire! And it's not a fire flower. This could be the end of him. This is your fault, chat. You summoned Bowser. He's hanging on. Oh wow, he's still hanging on. This Mario's a fighter, and yes, our population has gone down quite a bit, hasn't it? How are there still 520,000 people living in this disaster? This time, yes, this disaster is taking place in 1964. Wow, what a mess. 3 hours of hard labor going up in flames, and somehow I'm loving it. Uh-oh, Mario's in big trouble now. There's more fires. Alright, it's almost time for our next run with Ice Blue. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this run. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to be back later tonight with another run for you fine folks. We're going to be doing Final Fantasy Legend 3. Excuse me, Legend 2, actually. And that's going to be a 4-monster run. Would it really? Wow, that's an awesome demographic. Thank you for that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, RGL. Thank you, chat. I'm glad you enjoyed this run. And I hope you enjoy the next. Let's give Ice 2 the hype. Excuse me, Ice Blue the hype, not Ice 2.